Hey, everybody. Good evening. You are with the Beatles podcast. We are your crew for this evening. We're going to wait and make sure we take care of business while some of you join us. I have it on comments and hope we get to say hi and check in with all you all, with our regulars. And if you're new, if you're a first timer to the Bleed Los podcast live, please say so. Please let us know. We'd love to give you a little shout out and welcome you personally. So I'm going to do the little ad read and then we'll get to everybody. Hi, Roy. I see you. Okay, Roy was first. All right. Let's get to bills paid. Bet Online continues to be your number one source for all of your basketball wagering needs, including pro and college hoops throughout the year. With up-to-the-minute odds, stats, and trends, you can follow your favorite team's path to the playoffs with in-game live betting, contests, and all the best player props. Experience the world's best wagering platform anytime from your desktop or your mobile devices. Head to BetOnline today to become part of the team and remember to use the promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here. Boom. Now we can have some fun. Alonso, Cody, Jason, it's good to be with you tonight. Hi, Roger, babyface. How's everyone doing?
Alicia, everybody.
Doing all right. How are you, Alicia?
I'm peachy. I'm still in Yosemite, so I apologize. I had to do the Princess Leia look tonight because dogs walked or hair blow dried. So I chose the dogs.
Fair.
I try to look my best for you fellas, and for our Bleed Los family, our friends out there. Dennis Gonzalez. Oh, look at Dennis went straight to spring training. They're biting. They're biting. They want to talk. Daniel, hi, Inland Empire. We see you. BBNK is checking in. Oh, look at my sister. Hi, Jules. Hi, sis. Val Reyes, Bleed Los Familia. That's right, Val. This is family here. We're in the carne asada. We do have a lot to get to this evening, so keep the comments coming. Keep it respectful, but we do like to have fun and we don't take ourselves too seriously. Well, I don't. I guess I shouldn't speak for you guys.
There's nothing serious about this show, Alicia.
Thank you. Thank you. So let's get to what I think is the most topical. Every day is something about Dodgers, right, guys? But I feel like lately it's about the uniforms, It's like the new uniforms has a lot of people upset. There are some people who do like it, but it sounds like even some of the players throughout Major League Baseball don't like the new Nike uniforms. So I'd like to start with Cody. What do you think? Am I wrong that it's causing a lot of feelings? These new uniforms.
100%. Pretty much anyone that's been watching this show, me and Roger, we've done a couple episodes on it. A couple of lives ago, it was a subject that we touched on as well. At the time, I still think the Dodgers is very close enough to where it could get by. But now that we're starting to see more and more teams come out, a lot more comparison pictures between last year's and then this year's. I'm very surprised. I wouldn't say I'm surprised, but to see the amount of fan backlash, just because a lot of the changes are pretty jarring when you first look at them, especially when you look at them side to side. You can definitely see big differences in I would say the quality, the colors in terms of like team colors, and then like me and Roger definitely dislike the off-white that a lot of these teams are moving to. And it kind of just looks like a cheaper jersey that you would get off of like, a thrift website or something like that. So, it's something that a lot of fans have been complaining about. And I think the big thing out of all this past week is that now players are starting to complain about it as well. And I did think it was a little awkward that the league, Nike and Fanatics tried to save face with some PR stunt where I'm not going to say they paid the players that are sponsored by Nike to say some things nice about these jerseys, but, the Dodgers posted a video, Jason Hayward too, and it looked very robotic. They're going to try to sell these jerseys no matter what. But if it's enough backlash where not many people are buying these jerseys, if it hurts their wallets, they may have to make some changes down the line. But I brought up before, the NFL made a bunch of changes. The NBA made a bunch of changes with their jerseys, and they didn't give any thought to what the fans thought, they pushed forward with those jerseys. So I imagine the MLB is going to do the same thing.
Yeah, I'm thinking they're gonna push forward. We do have some of our Bleed Los people kind of mad. We got Denny Cortez says white isn't white. The Cubbies blue isn't even the right shade. Dennis Gonzalez says he's not gonna drop a couple of $100 for these jerseys. But honestly, I mean, Alonso, Jason, I feel like they can do what they want, don't you? Like they're in the driver's seat. Do you think there's going to be enough pushback from people, from customers, meaning the fans, to not go through with these jerseys? I just feel like after everything, the cycle of news will just keep turning, and then people will forget and just keep going to the stadium, paying for this stuff. No?
Yes and no. I think what's going to ultimately move the needle is the players' reaction. I've looked at these. Personally, I'm not a big jersey guy. Like the jerseys I have behind me, they were given to me. So I don't go out and buy them. I'm not Cody. I don't wear jerseys all the time, showing off the guns and all that stuff. But I think ultimately what's going to move the needle is for sure the players coming out and saying it. Like there was, I forgot who tweeted about it. I was trying to find it a little bit ago. I think it was someone. I want to say, I think someone that plays for the Cardinals that was talking about their nameplate, and that, another anonymous player said it looked cheap, like things like that. I think when players' names start attaching themselves to that, or players attach their names to that, I should say, I think that's what's going to move the needle. But then again, if where it will move the needle for Nike is if people just don't buy them. If people don't buy them, then that's ultimately the easiest way to get that to kind of be, fixed or what have you. But we'll see. I mean, it's going to be interesting because in a lot of people order their Ohtani jerseys, right? They got them. And that's when people are like, what the fuck is this? Like, it's not comparable, right? And like all the jerseys I have are majestic. I haven't bought any of the Nike ones. I haven't really paid attention to the Nike ones either. But I mean, obviously for me, that's the standard, right? What you got with Majestic is and was the standard. And so to see it kind of get cheapened, for lack of a better term, is on brand, if we're being completely honest.
Yeah. Jason, you agree? Or are you going to buy a jersey, Jason?
Look, the only thing worse in these jerseys is that Sunday Red logo that we just got a few days ago. I mean, really, I don't know which is worse, those two. Maybe Sunday Red will make those jerseys for them. Look, they look cheap. I think Roger had the photo up there a moment ago. They don't look great. But I'm going to go with what the players are saying. It's really what matters, right? They're the ones that have been putting them on. They're the ones who are going to wear them every day. And if they're complaining and if there's enough noise, I would not be surprised that before opening day there's a change. So I guarantee you there's probably meetings happening right now, round the clock. This is a big deal. It's a little bit of a PR nightmare for Nike. And I don't think they're taking it lightly. So I actually don't think this is going to have a huge window. I think if more players complain here in the next several days, I think we will see them strip these jerseys right away, and they'll have some new uniforms by opening day. It's a bad look for one of the world's largest brands, of anything, period. And so, I tongue in cheek, of course, talk about the Sunday Red brand, but I think it's ironic. Nike loses Tiger, and then we get this, and so I think Nike has some work to do here. It's pretty disappointing. So, looking at what I'm seeing, no, I won't be investing in a jersey that looks like that. I don't buy a lot of jerseys, but I do have some. But for me, it's more about what I want my team to look like when they're out there, right? What we want our teams to look like when they're out there. We don't want to go backwards. I mean, these things should be looking amazing, And so, yeah, I think there's going to be some changes here pretty soon.
And Nike doesn't miss a lot.
No,
if Nike's missing, that's a bad look on them. So I think, and I think about that because if you haven't watched the And One documentary on Netflix, go watch it. Like their whole thing is they have their eyes to the market, they have their eyes to media, all that stuff. So the fact that this backlash thing is happening, especially in a point in time where baseball, we've talked about it, right, is coming back, that's going to be a big thing because the consumer isn't going to want to spend their dollars on these jerseys. So it happened with the NBA. Like I remember when the NBA had, I think it was Adidas, and the players were like, "What the shit is this? This doesn't fit right." Blah blah. They fixed whatever. So I wouldn't be surprised. Like the Boatman said, they have a very small window to correct this, and I think they're going to correct it.
I mean, has there been any backlash about how they work, like performance-wise, or just is it all looks? And please forgive me for not knowing this ahead of time, but has anyone said the quality is like restrictive or making them hot? Because greed is a hell of a drug. Maybe it has something to do with Nike just truly being cheap, right? It starts at the top, corporate America. I don't want to get into politics, but I'm just saying. Let me keep it light. We got to shout out some people. Butch Diaz, welcome to Bleedlos. He says he's a first timer. Welcome, Butch. Sandra Fernandez, hey, girl. Simeon, thank you for joining us. Pablo XH34, buenas noches. Doom Sal is with us. We love our loyal Bleedlos family. Please keep it coming. I think I said Denny Cortez, but just in case I didn't, and I think somebody on here called me Darth Alicia. I'll take it. Sometimes being a Sith is more fun, no? What is it? Bad girls go everywhere. Since we're on the topic of uniforms, what about this Guggenheim patch? I thought that was a joke when I saw the first post on social media. I thought, oh, that's a cool floss, but I thought someone made it kind of just saying, expressing their feelings towards how powerful of a group Guggenheim is. If for those of you, just in case, Guggenheim is the ownership group of the Los Angeles Dodgers, and they had a major flex this season, right? This offseason. But it's true. Roger had to correct me, babyface, letting me know that, no, that's a real patch. I mean, what did you think, Cody? I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't think it's no secret that I'm a big jersey guy on here. So Alonzo kind of has been toying with me this past week, just shooting shots at me on my Instagram DMs. So, yeah, it was inevitable. I mean, most teams, even the most iconic franchise in baseball, the Yankees, they even have an advertisement patch now. The Dodgers, at least in my opinion, they just went with their ownership group, which it matches the same colors. It looks a little out of place, but at least, it still kind of matches the color scheme of the team. And, the ownership group can do whatever they want. I kind of figured that's what it was going to be because I feel like this is the most that the Guggenheim group have actually tried to mesh the Dodger brand and their brand together. And it all started when Ohtani signed, because if you look at every time when he's doing his interview now, the backdrop doesn't just say Dodgers like it used to. It has the ownership group's name and the Dodgers name on there as well. So they can do whatever they want. I'm really interested to see if they keep the LA patch on their arm, because these jerseys, advertisement patches, they go on whatever like arm is facing the camera for the batter. So lefties usually, or righties will usually have it on their left arm, and then lefties will have it on their right arm. So that way it's facing the camera. So that kind of could cause some issues with that patch. Because I think last year when the team did photo day, they were wearing jerseys without the LA patch. So a lot of people thought that they were going to introduce an advertisement at some point, but they never did. And then the very next day, those jerseys had the LA patch on them, coincidentally. And I haven't seen the authentic whites in use yet. They've only been wearing the authentic spring training blues, which don't have the LA patch. So it'll be interesting if it does go away. I think that's just one part of the Dodgers jersey that's unique that isn't there anymore. But yeah, I mean, I knew it was inevitable to happen. Pretty soon, every team's going to have an advertisement patch. It's going to be similar to how the NBA does it. But I mean, what are you going to do? If it's the ownership group and not some random thing, I'm semi-okay with it.
I love that. Not some random thing. When some of our Bleedlos fam is saying better than a Timu patch, nice, Denny, or someone else called for an In-N-Out or Norms. They want an In-N-Out patch or a Norms patch. Steak dinner. So, or steak and eggs breakfast, I should say. Norms. Hey, maybe we could get Norms. Everyone, we should just start yelling out Norms, and maybe they could sponsor the Bleedlos podcast. I see it as a flex. I think that's just a precursor to what Guggenheim has in store. They're not done with just baseball, right? What do you think, Alonso?
No, I mean, listen, to Cody's point, I kind of thought this was coming like a mile away. When I saw, we hadn't seen the Guggenheim thing in the step and repeat up until this season that I can recall. And obviously they had it there prominently, for the signing of the biggest, the Japanese Babe Ruth, the biggest guy in baseball. So I was kind of, in my mind, I was like, that'd be funny if they put that on their jersey Fast forward to a couple days ago, they put it on the jersey. So I'm not overly surprised, but I do think it's a great PR move for Guggenheim, because prior, this wasn't a front-facing ownership group. That's not kind of their style. They're very, hey, let's do everything kind of behind the scenes, kind of like Friedman does. That's kind of their philosophy. Let the product on the field do what it needs to do. I think, listen, after the offseason that they had, they can do whatever the hell they want. They want to put that on the helmets. Go ahead, man. Knock yourself out. Because at the end of the day, they've earned it. They've gone out and done the thing, and they've proven, to the fan base, hey, we're here to do the thing, and that's what we're here to do. I mean, and for those of you that don't know, Guggenheim Baseball Management is basically they have a portfolio of like real estate development. They obviously do hedge funding. So there's yeah, it's a big entity with that isn't just sports. Like this, obviously the sports side is the Dodgers, but they have the means to go out and do these things, just like go signing a Shohei Ohtani. And so, hey, more power to him, man. Like I said, you want to put it on the helmet, go ahead and do it. You want to put it on a shirt? I'll even wear a Guggenheim shirt after this offseason, just for the hell of it. Because, I mean, that should be celebrated given what they've gone out and done and put out for the fans, right?
It should be celebrated, but Jason, maybe I should explain. Okay, the fact that they did so well with the baseball, with Ohtani, with all the acquisitions, I mean, it's just crazy. The zoo, the circus, the anticipation for this upcoming season for the Dodgers. But I feel like the way they are branding themselves with the patch means that, I mean, are they going to get into other sports? They already do the real estate. And thank you, Alonso, for explaining just how large Guggenheim is, which I feel like most Dodger fans, we didn't know nor care what Guggenheim did in our daily lives, but now we do, right? Thanks to the Dodgers. Do you think this is just something that is gonna, manifest later? I mean, are they gonna buy other teams? I don't know. What do you think?
I think we've entered new waters now with the signing of Yamamoto and Shohei, right? That's to say the bare minimum, obviously. So I think with that, if you're this, it went beyond the Dodgers. These signings were so big that it went beyond the Dodgers. And I think, Alonso, you said that a moment ago, or if it was Cody, but how, this is an ownership who's been behind the scenes, doesn't seem to micromanage, right? And they're not front and centered up until now. And I think when this happened, I think they were probably very involved in these negotiations in one way. And then I think there was a plan already for, hey, if we do sign the biggest name out there and one of the biggest superstars on the planet, we got to think about this a little bit differently. We want people to know who Guggenheim is, an international company, right? It's a multi-billion-dollar company. And so now with the eyes all over in Japan and Asia and all over the world, this is a wonderful opportunity for free advertisement. So what this is now, this is free ad. When you own the team, you can do whatever you want, like Alonso said. So now they get to advertise for free. I don't think this is a long-term thing. I think this is a way for them to say, we're getting in on this. We're going to advertise Guggenheim for about a year. And now that other companies know that the Dodgers are open for business, because I think there was this notion of, traditionally, we're one of the few teams who have refused to put naming rights on our stadium. Mm-hmm. Right? We've been Dodger Stadium. Yeah. They don't touch that. That may change someday now. I want to put that out there, fans. That may change now. And so it's starting with the jerseys. We never thought, I didn't think it would happen. I didn't think it would happen to the Lakers. And of course they did. Every NBA team has jumped on it. And so I think it's uncharted territory for the Dodgers, and it's free advertisement. I think next year, and maybe I shouldn't say this because the Dodgers might get mad at me, but don't buy your jerseys right away, because I think we're going to see a new patch in 2025. I think folks are going to jump at it. And this is Guggenheim's way of saying, hey, it's like those billboards where they say advertise here. That's what you're basically seeing. The Dodgers are telling the world, advertise here. And I guarantee you they will get the most money out of than any other team by far with the stars they have now in 2025. And so I think that's what you're seeing right now. And it's just the name of the game. Hey, could be worse. Could be the Charlotte Hornets, where Mr. Beast has his chocolate bar all over their jerseys. So, and that is a fact, folks.
Cody's shaking his head.
Mr. Beast does sponsor the Charlotte Hornets. I was doing a G League game for the Hornets a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, is that the Mr. Beast chocolate bar, whatever that's called? I'm like, oh my goodness. And I had to look it up, and it said, yep, the Charlotte Hornets are Mr. Beast is their sponsor. Anyway.
I love it.
Alicia,
Find
Denny had a good question if the Guggenheim owned LAFC. So there is a couple of partners in LAFC. Like Peter Guber is one part owner. LAFC has like a
Lon
huge
Rosen.
list, a huge list of owners. I'm on their page right now.
Lon
Lon Rosen and Magic Johnson. So a couple of the people that are within the Guggenheim ownership group are involved with LAFC as well.
Right, but
Yep.
Pablo XH34 says, I don't mind the patch as long as the sponsor is not across the chest like the LAFC jerseys. No comment. I'm a huge LAFC fan, so I'm biased.
And that's soccer culture, right? Soccer just around the
it's
world.
different.
Yeah,
It's different.
different. Yeah.
But I do like what Jason said or mentioned about this is semi-permanent and it's like, hey, advertise here. And I think someone else had brought that up as well. Kind of like it's dumb because it's basically advertising, hey, we have food at home, which I thought was a great comparison. It's kind of like what Jason just said. So just stay tuned. I guess we're going to find out how that goes. But it sounds like a lot of our Bleed Los fam not happy with the patches, not happy with the changes. I kind of feel like in America, our culture as a whole, we don't really like change that much anyway, do we? I just feel like what Cody mentioned, as long as the players don't like it, it's the only reason to change it. So we're going to keep you on top of all of that. Thank you.
Well, can I add just one last thing, Alicia? I think for those of us that are old enough and have been going to Dodger Stadium forever, I mean, there was a time where stadiums, including Dodger Stadium, did not look like the yellow pages out there, right? Where the wall was blue. Let's not forget that, right? You watch the 80s, the early 90s, and now that's what we see, right? And we thought we'd never see the day back then, 30 years ago or so, and Dodger Stadium had to give in like everybody else, but that's how you pay for Ohtani. And so with that, I think that's the next phase here.
So it's not our $34 micheladas paying for Ohtani? Wait, what? Breaking news. Hi, Nina Maria Lozano. I love when the women are joining the carne asada. Keep it coming. Tell a friend. Yeah, so Denny agrees, making their presence known. Roy Estrada, they're also part owners of Lakers. Maybe we're going to get some Guggenheim Jets or something. I mean, I don't know. This is a corporate world we live in. We just go to see our boys play, and I want to talk about them playing because we finally got to see Ohtani at bat. I know you guys have been talking about it, but it's my first time back with you while I'm here on holiday. How exciting. How exciting. Seeing the reaction, seeing the job that the Dodgers are doing, marketing this epic unicorn, this star that is our Dodger player, Shohei Ohtani. Are we liking the advertising? Are we liking the marketing? Is it expected? Do you think they should do more or less? I'm going to start with you, Cody, because I know you're on this every day. What do you think?
Yeah, Ohtani finally rocking the full uniform. It's a great sight to see. It's something that we've been looking forward to on this channel. Pretty much if you're a Dodgers fan in general, you've been waiting for him to report to camp, not just to see him debut, but just to kind of see where he is health-wise, because there are still a lot of questions going on about that. But Roger and I, we did an update episode a couple days ago, kind of talking about Ohtani and how he did during his batting practice session, and it was extremely good. He had high exit velos. He hit like 11 or 12 home runs in like 21 swings. And pretty much everybody on the team, all the beat writers, they were all tuning in to watch. And he said he felt fine. And, each day he's taking more and more steps to actually be ready come opening day. I believe we'll get into it later as well. I think he is scheduled to take live ABs this weekend, which is probably, it was like, I think Dave Roberts said it was like, and Ohtani himself said it was like one of the last check boxes that he needed before getting into like actual game situations. And, Roger and myself, we are a little skeptical to see if Ohtani will get any spring game action this spring training. I'm going to go on to the side of he probably will not be in a game this year, just so that they can have him ready. Cause realistically they're going to Korea in like 4 weeks. And they'll be playing regular season games, and then they have to come back to the U.S., play 3 exhibition games, and then get ready for the home opener against the Cardinals. So that's a lot of traveling in a short period of time. And for someone like Ohtani, who's still recovering from his injury or his surgery and the injury for his oblique, they're going to take their time with him. But I definitely think he'll be ready opening day. And all signs are pointing that he's going to have a really great season, smack dab in the number 2 hole or the number 3 hole.
Amen. I love it. I love it. Keep it coming. So nobody here is mad. Alonso, you're not upset with the advertising. I mean, isn't this expected? It's Shohei Ohtani. It's truly showtime.
Yeah, no. It like the boatman said, the Dodgers are open for business. Like listen, whether we like it or not, like, yeah, they have a bunch of money, but they still have a bottom line, right? And you also got to pay the guy. I mean, I don't have $700 million. So, I mean, and I mean, between the 4 of us, we probably have like $36. There's no way that we can pay, so it's a math problem, right? And so it makes all the sense in the world. But I will say, listen, I watched the videos of him taking BP. I've seen Shohei take BP once in person. I haven't heard a pop off a bat like that ever. And I've been really lucky to work in the game, be around some dudes that hit the ball. That dude has an audible pop to the ball in a way that we don't really see. BP looked great. Like Cody said, the exit velos look good. But for me, the biggest thing is he's out there making solid contact with the ball after that surgery, the crazy quasi UCL surgery that he had or whatever. I don't even know. I don't even think they have a name for it still. And
of course, right?
yeah, we'll call it the Shohei.
Yeah.
But he looked great. Yamamoto's looked great in the bullpen as well. That's been good to see. All the everyone that's there. Obviously, I know there was a couple guys that were away for a little bit and then they came back, or Joe Kelly showed up a little late. But I mean, everyone is in camp. It looks like they're gelling the right way. Shohei has the right personality for the clubhouse. He doesn't have that superstar kind of a mindset. Mookie Betts even talked about the postseason, much to Alicia's accountability wanting with Mookie Betts, where he just basically said, "I need to show up." So all things that are good going into this season after this tremendous offseason, which again is one for the ages that we've talked about, and it's just time for Dodger baseball, right? So I think, and to Cody's point, I don't think we're going to see Shohei very much in the spring. I think we're going to see some live BP, things like that. My money is on like 5, maybe 6 appearances in spring, and then he goes right into opening day just to not risk any sort of injury, and then it's off to the races is kind of what I expect.
Amen.
I have the video here. If you guys haven't seen it, let me play it real quick.
Yeah. Boom.
And he said he was at about 80 to 90%. So
thanks, Dodgers, for that video.
Thank you, Dodgers. That is property of the Los Angeles Dodgers. It is so exciting to see him out there. I know Dodger fans so excited. I know the rest of them will be so mad. Simmer down, everybody. Simmer down. Jason, what about this marketing for Ohtani? I feel like I personally expected it. It's the Dodgers, but I know a lot of people are like, Angels suck. This is just another example of how the Angels did everything wrong. Is this a chance to kind of poop on the Angels, or is it just let's celebrate how well the Dodgers do things? You know what I'm saying?
I will always take a chance to poop on the Angels. I mean, we can do that for the next half hour if you'd like, but that's a whole nother show.
Oh no!
I mean, I don't want to go on my soapbox about the Angels. Okay. Look, I feel bad for them just a little bit. I mean, it's sad. It really is. You want to talk about a sad organization? That's them. I'll be honest. It really, really is. It really is. I'll say this, and I'll drop that because this show isn't about that. But since you opened that can of worms, and we were talking about ownership and all that, it wasn't too long ago when rumors were swirling that Steve Ballmer might be interested in buying the Angels. Let me tell you, that's the best thing that could have not happened to the Dodgers. That man, I believe he's the wealthiest If not, he's top 3 or 4 wealthiest owners in the world in sports. I mean, he has a tremendous amount of money. And so he squashed that right away and said, no, I'm not going to do that. And that would have been the best thing, though, that could have happened to the Angels if a guy like that would have bought the team. So, anyway, having said that, yeah, they have their own set of issues over there. We got the guy now on the other side of the freeway here, and it is what it is. It was to be expected. The advertising is part of it. We love it. We're eating it alive. People are buying it. The kids are loving it. And I think for the city of Los Angeles, and when you get back into and talk about our history of diversity, not just in LA, but with the Dodgers and what we've done for decades and decades, going back to Jackie Robinson and now, and you don't have to give you a history lesson. We all know that. So that's what even makes it even more exciting, right? And with Yamamoto as well. I we focus obviously on Shohei a lot and all of that, but let me tell you, I am just as excited about that guy. He is going to be something else on that mound. It's going to be amazing. And I think that's what put the icing on the cake when we got those two guys. It just made it even that much more special than just Ohtani by itself, which would have been amazing. So, yeah, they deserve all the flowers they're getting, all the excitement. It's going to be a lot of pressure. The honeymoon phase here in LA doesn't last very long, and they'll be expected to produce and win. And, one injury or they're one injury away from being hated, another surgery away from saying, look, that was a waste of money and all that stuff. Right. And we're going to get it. I mean, in a long contract like that, folks are going to get hurt. It's going to happen. It's part of sports. But no, it's exciting. And look, what else can we say about what the guy's going to do? I mean, it wasn't surprising what he did out there. I mean, he can roll up and do 4 or 5 games, like Alonso said, and he'll still show up on opening day or whenever, and he'll be killing it, And so I'm just hoping that on the other side in 2025, we're able to see him just as spectacular on the mound. Right. And I think that's where it makes me a little nervous. Again, I think that's where the investment will be criticized in about a year or so. And we'll really know if it was worth it. Because, we're paying for 2 pitcher and hitter, not just hitter. People got to remember that. And so, that's when we'll really, really know how far this investment goes. But all the excitement, all the cameras, I mean, it's well deserved, and we deserve it as fans too. I mean, how many years did we just have to, hear about the Yankees and the Yankees and the Yankees, right, during the Joe Torre era and all these different eras? And I don't even want to say we're now the Yankees. We're the Dodgers, right? We're where we were supposed to be, where we've always been. And so I think that's what's exciting here.
Ooh, yeah, we don't want to get back into villain talk. Let's just keep it positive.
Can we talk about the Angels again, though? That's a lot of fun. No.
I like that Jason's like, the entire time we've been doing this show, nothing has made his face light up until we got to shit on the Angels a little bit.
It is not it's not cool either that he's the one Latino owner in Major League Baseball. It's kind of like, dude, come on, like, I don't know, like a little bit of representation. Like, it's just embarrassing.
Well, and you know what though, and I'm not it kind of is, isn't it? Here's the thing though too, and it's not trying to defend the guy, but what we're seeing in all of sports is this is now, you got to be a multi-billionaire to own and compete in professional sports today, especially in baseball. So when a guy who Artie Moreno's is an incredibly rich guy, but he's one of the poorer owners. I mean, what does that say, right, about where we are in sports? And I'm not going to talk about all these teams, but you can look it up. There was an article or some kind of a graph I saw a few months ago that ranked all the owners in Southern California, sports in general, all sports in Southern California. And all I'm going to say is you're going to be surprised. Well, not just surprised at who's at the top, but you'll be surprised who's at the bottom of that list as well, right? And it tells you a lot about to compete, not just to be an owner, but to compete. You really have to be super, super wealthy or bring in other investors into the group. And so it's tough.
Yeah. And I'll even go on Jason's point. I love shitting on the Angels too. It's like one of my favorite pastimes. But yeah, Artie Moreno, he's not afraid to spend money. And that's something that I've seen him, it's just the Angels have just historically just been a horribly ran franchise, from, you could say, ownership to player development to their front office. Dodger fans should be blessed for the camaraderie and the collaboration that these ownership, front office, and the players all have, because that doesn't happen often. Because you can sign a guy to a long-term deal. I mean, we had Albert Pujols for about half a season, loved him here. The Angels, if you ask any Angels fan, they would probably not sign that contract when they got him. Josh Hamilton's another name that they gave a lot of money to. Hell, Anthony Rendon's all over the news recently, and that's probably a deal that they wish they wouldn't have done as well. And this is money that could have went to Ohtani, and they ended up letting him walk. Very embarrassing for them, even though the writing was kind of on the wall that he was going to walk away from the franchise regardless. But to have him go to your crosstown rival or cross freeway rival, it's bad for them. So I do feel a smidge bad, but it's just the way it is in baseball.
Yeah, I think I feel more bad for the fans. I don't feel bad for the rich owner. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But we're just spoiled. We say that all the time here in the Bleed Los Carne Asada. We are definitely spoiled and blessed, like Cody just mentioned. Go ahead, Jason.
Another thing too, to kudos to the Dodgers about this. I think we spent a lot of time analyzing how teams invest in their lineups, but I think where the Dodgers have won year after year over the last decade, ever since Guggenheim came in on board, is their investment in the minor league system, their investment in the coaches, their investment in the geeks that I call. I mean, this is a geeky world of sports now that we've been in for the last 10 or 15 years or so, right? These research positions. You have people with doctorates and PhDs working in professional teams now that are coming together, putting together all these algorithms and all these things. This costs a lot of money. So yes, the Angels spent a lot of money on a Pujols and all that, and that was just to sell some jerseys and get a TV rights name, and they got that. But what they didn't get is they didn't put in the investment on the back end. And we're seeing that, right? They can't build a team around people like Shohei, people like Trout, people like Pujols. Am I depressing you yet, Angel fans? I mean, it's bad. It's really bad. But what that tells you is I'm going to spend money on the flashy car, right? Have all these expensive vehicles, but I'm going to live in this one-bedroom apartment. And that's basically what they did. And so a lot of teams will fall into that mistake where they don't invest on the back end, and all those incredible people in the Dodger organization who work really, really hard to send Dave Roberts that lineup. But anyway.
I know. It's also cultural, right? I mean, it starts at the top. And I feel like the Dodgers, the culture in the clubhouse, the culture of winning has been established. And I feel like the Angels are just always trying. So to speak to what Cody mentioned, Artie does spend money. It's just poorly. Poor decisions. That's what I was getting at. So enough with them. This is the Dodgers Bleed Los podcast. And I do have a correction here from our Bleed Los fam. Let's see. Chris Frostiker says the walls were covered with advertisements back in the 40s and 50s on stadiums across the country. And it had me thinking, what were those advertisements, guys? Were they like doctor-approved cigarettes? Like, is that when they had cocaine in your Coca-Cola? Like, that was a long time ago.
Or like back east, like when they had, Cody will probably correct me, WB Masons. Like all that stuff back in the day.
That's all over there. Yeah, it Citizens Bank Park.
Can I give a recommendation or a suggestion for the early leader in the clubhouse for the Danny Duffy Award for tonight?
Yeah.
Dennis Gonzalez said a comment a minute ago that meanwhile Blue Jays fans are still flight tracking. That, in my opinion, is the Danny Duffy Award leader in the clubhouse at the moment. Good on you, Dennis.
Poor Blue Jays. Good one, Dennis. Keep these comments coming. We'll try to get to them as much as possible. Denny says, my parents are Angels fans and I feel bad for them. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I feel bad for the fans. Boatman, don't even put that negativity in the universe. Dang, they're watching every word. We got to stay on our toes here.
That's what I do best.
Sandra Fernandez says, "Babyface, you're so quiet." Oh, he's the Oz behind the curtain. He's making sure everything is working with the podcast, right, Babyface? Babyface, you sure you don't want to jump in and say something terrible about the Angels? Now's your chance.
He's saving it for the Padres.
Yeah, my choice is the Padres. So,
all right, okay. So we are excited. We've all established that we expected this to go down. The Dodgers are doing a wonderful job with hyping up Ohtani. I mean, the hype isn't necessary. We all are very excited. Great job. Bravo, Dodgers. Angels couldn't do it at this level, and this is why the Dodgers are the Dodgers and the Angels are the Angels. Everything is trending. Ohtani is set for opening day. We'd love to hear that. I'm going to take it down a notch because I know some fans are probably going to go off. But Rob Manfred, who is stepping down. He just announced that he's going to be stepping down in 2029. Rob Manfred. I was raised, if you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. So how do you guys feel about Manfred? Since I have you here, you think he did a good job elevating Major League Baseball? Do you think he's done a bad job? And what do you think Rob Manfred will be remembered for the most during his tenure of running Major League Baseball? Cody, start with you.
That's a lot to start off with. But yeah,
Thumbs
I
up.
want to
thumbs
keep
down.
I want to keep the vibes a little bit positive. I do think Manfred gets a lot more hate than he should be getting. I think the biggest thing, and this is, to just appease the audience, what he's going to be remembered for would be his biggest failure, and that's just the whole Astros debacle. I mean, I don't think there's any way of getting around that. In terms of baseball history, that's just going to follow him. His name will forever be linked to it. I don't think he handled the entire situation right, because, you had the players pretty much confessing that they did it, but they granted him, letting them do that as long as they came forward, still get to keep the World Series trophy. I didn't think anything dramatic like that was going to happen, but, you can still view that World Series. I'll give it to him. I still think that, they did earn that series, even though it was a little bit of cheating on their end. But yeah, he'll definitely be remembered for that. But I think there's some good things in his entire tenure, and he still has a couple more years left to kind of right the ship. I think the best thing that he actually has done, and I think the best thing baseball's done probably in years, is the implementation of the pitch clock. I was a little skeptical of it because, as you mentioned earlier, change in America and change in baseball, if you're a fan, is super hard to go by. And for someone that's played baseball my entire life and watched baseball, adding a clock to a sport that's never had a clock was a huge change. And for someone like me who lives on the East Coast, these Dodger games don't start until like 9:10, 10:10 my time. To be able to condense it from a 4-hour game, 3.5-hour game in the regular season to like 2 hours, it is a huge W in my book, because the MLB season is extremely long, 162 games. The amount of game, I usually try to watch at least every game just to stay up to date with everything for everything we do here. But it used to be really hard, especially when these games would run really late at night on the East Coast. I think the expansion of postseason teams is one thing that I think it's too early to judge. Obviously, us Dodger fans, we've kind of had a lot of opinions based off it, just because since they implemented it 2 years in a row, the Dodgers were first round exits. But the other year that they did it in 2020, the Dodgers ended up winning the World Series. So I think down the line in the next couple years, I think it'll start to correct itself, where there's not going to be an 85 win team making it to the World Series in back-to-back years. I think that'll be an anomaly soon. Perhaps even this year, we don't know what's going to happen. So I think the other thing that he needs to correct before his tenure's done is, where are the Oakland A's playing? Where are they going to play? Are they going to Salt Lake City? Are they going to Vegas? Are they staying in Oakland? They don't know. The fans don't know. And the big thing that drives up money in baseball is the fans. And Oakland, I think, deserves this, have this, the team there. But there's a lot more to it than just baseball, because I think the A's ownership, while I do believe they are bad, I think they've been villainized a little bit too much, because there's so much more to it than just baseball and then just building a new stadium. There is so much politics that are involved with everything in it. And from everything I've done research-wise, is that the city just won't cave at anything that the league or the team themselves offers. So hopefully by 2029, they have that corrected. I assume they will be. But yeah, I still think his tenure will be remembered not super positive, but it'll kind of be like a neutral stance.
I agree. I think he's done some good things, but my first reaction to that is stuck on the Astros and what he did and how he handled it and how blasé Manfred was when people keep bringing it up and he's like, oh, I probably do it differently now. Alonso, I think he still has a few years, but Cody brought up a great point. It's a long season. Baseball is different than NFL, but baseball was supposed to be America's pastime. The NFL is just it owns America. It owns sports. And I think Manfred is also going to be remembered for kind of blowing the chances that he had to promote the game, to promote star players. It's like they were stuck in the past, kind of like the Pac-12. Oh, sorry, different show. What do you think? Am I wrong? Am I totally off base?
I have to recuse myself from the Pac-12 commentary because of my daytime employer, so I apologize. By the way, for those of you asking where Juan is, he is on assignment. He is not incomunicado or excommunicated or any of that. He's just not here. Rob Manfred will be looked upon very interestingly, and the reason I say that is to some of Cody's points. What it boils down to with the Astros thing, he was afraid of the players union. That's just what it was, is what it is, and he was working with what he had. And the Yankee letter will come up at some point. If you don't know about that situation, definitely read about that. Apparently they were doing something similar just earlier. And I do think it'll be checkered, but I do think there's some positives. Like I do think he's cognizant of not promoting certain players the way that like other sports do, like the NFL, the NBA. I think one thing that's going to help that is something that he's kind of talked about this year is having a deadline for free agency, because I think we can all agree that free agency is dragging out. I mean, for Christ's sake, Cody Bellinger hasn't signed yet.
No.
And there's still some other kind of high profile free agents that are still out there. And
there's two that are, who's their agent, right?
And the Scott Boras effect is a part of it too, right? But the thing is like in football, something like that really wouldn't ever happen, right? You wouldn't ever really see a free agent that's a high profile free agent, that's a high priced free agent, that's an elite free agent, all these kind of buzzwords wouldn't be lingering around, right? And so that's kind of where the difference between the two is. And the other part too is they haven't really capitalized on social media like these other sports have, the NFL, the NBA. And I think there's room there for improvement. And I think they're recognizing that and they're cognizant of it. And they're trying to kind of get up to speed. And I do think Ohtani is going to help with that because of the amount of eyeballs. And I should say Ohtani with the Dodgers is going to help with that because of the amount of eyeballs that the game is going to have on it now. But I think the one thing that I think is going to, in my opinion, put it over the hump with kind of where he ends up kind of in the history of the game is what does happen with the A's. Because now that went from, hey, this is resolved. We figured it out. Yeah, there's all this political stuff that we have to work through. We found a home. Now apparently we don't have a home. And now we got to work through that. And I'm not even saying that because I live in Salt Lake City and work here. I know they would embrace that team here. I've heard quite a bit that in Vegas they just don't want them. They don't want the A's. And so if anyone's incomunicado here, it's the Oakland A's. Apparently no one wants them except here in Salt Lake City, which that's ironic. Go ahead, Alicia.
I just gotta, because you're right there with Mr. Seabat commented, breaking news, the Oakland A's will be moving to Bakersfield because they have nowhere else to go. Just like my loser cousin who's sleeping on my couch for months after his divorce.
Ouch.
Wow.
That's tough.
Tell us how you feel.
I think that's the comment right there.
It is.
Seabat needs a hug. Let's give you a hug, Mr. Seabat.
Maybe we should all.
Can we put her on? I want to hear about that. We'll
Yes.
do a love
Get
line.
that divorced guy some merch, dude.
Maybe
I know. You gotta send the divorce guy.
Someone's
some
bleeding
shirts.
out there.
Yeah,
Jeez.
send us your Venmo and we'll send you those $36 I talked about earlier. Chat day.
I love that our fam, a lot of the fams, the Bleedles fam, right away their comments are Manfred sucks. There's quite a few of those as soon as we brought up Rob Manfred. But I'm glad that we're keeping it, we're being open-minded because my first reaction is, of course, the Astros. Jason, yay or nay on the legacy of Rob Manfred? I feel like he's checkered, just like Alonzo said. Thank you for being enlightening, I should say. What do you think, Jason?
I mean, I'm pretty indifferent with commissioners. I mean, what do you have to compare it to? I mean, how many commissioners have we had in the history of baseball, right? I mean, what did Bud Selig do? Great or not? I don't know what the grade is, right? We can sit here and hate on the guy.
Oh, man, can I play devil's advocate?
But what
Sure,
about
please.
for the
No, please.
rest of sports?
So when you look back, because in our lifetime, it's been Bud Selig and in Cody's lifetime too. It's been Rob Manfred and Bud Selig, right? where would you put Bud Selig in comparison to these other kind of commissioners, if you will?
Yeah. Okay, so here's the problem I have though with compare different eras. We live in a very different world, and I'd argue that Rob Manfred has lived in some of the more chaotic and big. He is the social media commissioner, right? Very much like we've talked about other presidents and leaders that they're when the eras that they've come in, right? It's very different, and so I think Rob Manfred will be known for the biggest changes that baseball has ever seen, quite frankly, arguably in its history, happened under Rob Manfred. Now, I don't know if he deserves the credit or the criticism, because I'd argue those changes would have happened with any other commissioner. So I don't think Rob Manfred walked into a boardroom and said, "Hey, everybody, we should put a pitch clock." That didn't come from him. He's not that smart. Okay, so I just don't think it happened in a vacuum with one guy walking in and saying, "I want all these changes." It's the pressure of society and sports and where we are and the media and the dollars behind it that then puts the pressure on these people to have to make decisions. So I'd argue, to answer your question, Bud Selig never had to face these issues and these problems. I would say he probably had an easier time, an easier era, I would say, of running any sports entity or organization like that in the 80s or in the 70s or the 90s. I think everything is just that much harder in the last 10, 20 years. It's everyone's in the know about everything. Everyone's got an opinion. So when you're trying to run a business or a team or an entire league, everything's moving fast. And so, yeah, the Astros was not handled great. I'd say that's something that I would critique him for, because that really is something he put his stamp on, and he could have done something unilaterally if he wanted, but I think he was afraid of the unions, like you said. A lot of changes have happened, some good, some not so great. I don't know. What I'd like to see in the future, I'd like to see people that actually were involved in the sport, either as a player or a manager, be commissioners of these leagues. And so when you've got people like Condoleezza Rice at one point that was saying, "Well, I would love to be the NFL commissioner." Why? What makes you qualified to run the NFL? You were in politics, right? And so that's what I'd like to see in all of these leagues, not just in baseball. I'd like to see folks like, I don't know. I'd love to see people put it on the comments. Who would you love to see as a commissioner of baseball in 5 years, right? Should it have been someone like a Joe Torre, even though he's getting kind of older now? Should it have been someone like that at some point that's played the game, been part of the game, and not some business person they got grabbed out of somewhere making $40-50 million a year, perhaps the greatest CEO job in our country? People forget these people make a tremendous amount of money to be commissioner. So I don't know where I'd rank him, but he's had a tough job in the era that he's managing this league.
I think I would like to thank you, all my co-hosts, for enlightening me, because mine was just negative, boo, Manfred, but you all have brought up some good points, and I will always admit when I'm wrong.
Pete Rose for commissioner.
That actually, he would legalize degen gambling so quick. And
what are the odds? What are the odds for Pete Rose being commissioner? I'm gonna.
Well, and Alicia, we also, the one positive that I was going to mention, and then we went sideways a little bit. He's helped the World Baseball Classic quite a bit. Like, he's helped the growth of that, and that's a huge dub on his end. If you look at it, there's like, I'm sure someone's going to sit here and say I'm a Rob Manfred homer. I'm actually not. I don't like the dude as a commissioner at all. I'm not a fan of most of these sports commissioners, because like the Boatman said, these dudes make like $40-50 million a year. Fuck off. Like, you don't need to make that much as a CEO of a commissioner of a league. But I digress. Like they made, like, he basically had $100 million in benefits that benefited something like 63 countries or something like that. For a tournament that a lot of people look at as not as big of a tournament as we think it is, or we think it should be, that's huge. And you had half of Japan just tuning in just to watch Shohei. So, I mean, those sorts of things, it's putting eyes on a product and growing in other ways, which baseball desperately needs. And he's done great that. Again, there's a lot of things that he hasn't done well, but some of them were kind of out of his control. But this is something that's within his control, and I think he's doing a hell of a job with it.
Okay. She's beat me when I'm beat.
I'm trying to keep you positive, Alicia.
No, I love the positivity. Thank you, Alonzo. I love it. It's coming in hard from our Bleed Los fam. A lot of he sucks, but Roy says he approves of Manfred. And I do want to bring up loaded baseballs. We forgot about that. Was that ever proven? The loaded baseballs?
The
That was on the
humidor?
Manfred era.
Remember the humidor? Well, I know the humidor.
The humidor, that's right. You know what? I guess my bad is that I was comparing him as a commissioner of sports, not just baseball. And I kind of resent how the NFL has just taken over. When and I love sports. It's my language of love with my family. But baseball is my heart, right? It's like my romantic relationship is baseball. So I think I take it too personally that I feel like baseball should be bigger and baseball should be better. And someone here brought up the minor league system, and that needs to be upgraded. These guys, because it's hurting the game too. I mean, we could get into I don't want to say politics, but like culturally, financially, what the minor league guys go through before they could even come to major league. All of that I think should be addressed, but that's another show. We could do that another time. We're running out of time here. I do want to say a couple of hellos to Adrian Rodriguez from Pico Rivera. Welcome to the Bleed Los podcast. Good to have you. Please join us again. We do this every week. And Gus, he gave us a what's up foo. I love the what's up foos. Thank you, Gus, for joining us. Mad Lad, I loved his comment about the Canadians actually believed they were going to get Ohtani. Dang, I love it. A little feisty. And one last one. I was corrected. Mr. Seabad has bringing in the heat tonight. Mr. Seabad corrected me. Linda Alvarado is a co-owner of the Colorado Rockies. Shout out, another Hispanic and a woman. So double the thumbs up. Thank you, Mr. Siba, for correcting me. Again, I will admit when I'm wrong. I just get kind of passionate and crazy about things. Sue me. No, I'm just kidding. Don't sue me. We're in California. Roy Estrada says Las Vegas wants an expansion team. Thank you for the loaded baseballs comment. Pablo XH34. Sandra. Yeah, a lot of Astros. I think Dodger fans just really, we don't want to forgive him because I feel like he wasn't serious, Manfred, about apologizing for the mistakes he made. It was kind of, to me, kind of like, what are you going to do? What are we going to do? Because he's a billionaire and he's pulling the strings. So I just heard that I hurt inside for Kershaw. 2017 really affected Kershaw. Got Dodgers fired. Families were affected. So I don't take it lightly. And I'm not drinking. I'm not angry. This is coconut water, okay? Danny Cortez says, Alicia, I'm right there with you. Baseball is my heart. I know. That's why we're all here. We love our Bleed Los fam. I think we're going to run out of time soon. You guys want to, any last comments? You guys want to bring up any comments you've seen? Any shout outs? What can we look forward to in these next days? Oh, I got one for you guys. Anybody here? Are you going to spring training? Are you going to Korea? Any plans? Have they changed?
No, unfortunately, I have to be a responsible adult, so I will not be attending either.
Responsible? What are you trying to say about those of us who go to spring training?
Whoa, wait, easy.
Okay, Cody, are you going to be able to make it to to Arizona? I know you're over there on the East Coast.
So I will be going to spring training, but I'll be going to Florida this year. So maybe I'll see. I know I'm going to head down to the Tampa Bay Rays camp, so maybe I'll see former Dodger Ryan Pepio or Johnny DeLuca over there. So that's what I'll be looking out for.
Very cool. Get a little sunshine, right? Because it's really cold where you are, right?
Yeah. So we're gonna get down to Florida, get to that 80-degree weather in March, and then we'll be fine.
I like it. Don't get burned. Got to protect yourself.
How do you know?
Oh, we'll know with you, Cody.
I know.
We'll know.
Jason, you gonna check out any spring training?
I am actually. I'll be out there the first weekend of March. I think we're watching a Friday night's game, March 1st, and then Sunday morning we'll be there for those two games. I haven't been to spring training in years, so I'm excited about that. So that'll be fun.
You picked a good time. It won't be busy at all. It'll be the right time.
I'm sure.
What?
Sure.
Babyface, when are you going to spring training? I know you're going.
I should be there a week from today. So next week I should be over there.
Very cool. How about you? Anybody out here in the Bleed Los world? Are you guys going to spring training? If you're out there and you send us a picture of yourselves at spring training, send it to us, and we'll try to get it up here on one of our lives, shouting out our Bleed Low spam that made it to spring training. Sound like a deal? Let us know. We're on Instagram. We're on the Twitter X Twitter. I still call it Twitter. You guys, did you adopt the X already?
No, it's Twitter. It is Twitter. It will always be Twitter.
Go back and forth.
Yeah.
I know, right?
Like when you send someone a tweet, now what do you call it now? I sent them an X.
I
I think it's a zeet.
A Z?
Yeah, I think that's what they wrote on their page. It's called a
Oh,
zeet.
that is stupid.
When I type it in on Google, it still is Twitter.
Yep,
So,
same. So as far as I'm
issues there.
as far as I'm concerned, I'm tweeting you. I am not Xing you. I'm not whatever that bullshit was that you just said, Boatman, because that's not a thing.
No, that wasn't me. Roger said Zeet or Zoot.
Oh, sorry,
or
Roger.
Zoot.
Sorry. Whatever that horseshit was, I'm tweeting you. That's what it is. I'm retweeting this. I'm liking that tweet. I'm tweeting you.
It's Twitter for Dodger fans. It's X for Angel fans. So let's just make sure we get that right.
Dang, you couldn't resist, Jason. You couldn't resist.
Anytime.
Before we go, Alicia.
Oh, go ahead, Richard.
Well, before we go, I shared with Cody earlier. So I saw this. Dodgers posted this today.
He's alive.
So we know he exists.
Oh, he is.
You know, Manny Margot is officially a Dodger, and I just wanted to get your opinion. Do you guys actually think he's going to stick with the team, or you think he'll be gone by opening day?
I bought World Series tickets the moment I heard they signed that guy.
So number one, I didn't have my glasses on, but that shit looked pretty photoshopped. I don't think that was real.
Right? In this world of AI,
it wasn't real.
How do we know what's real?
It's Manny Margot. He's in camp. He's playing some outfield, but there's been a lot of rumors that they're trying to trade him.
I mean, listen, I think it obviously has to make sense, right? And it would make all the sense in the world that they got a depth piece. I've said that, so why not?
Okay, I'm happy y'all are excited.
But thank you for showing up to spring training on time, Manny. I appreciate you. Considering apparently you're real, so my apologies to you. But thanks for showing up.
We got some last comments here. Denny Cortez says, "Let's start a movement to restore the Zen Garden for Ohtani and Yamamoto." I like that idea. If for all of you, if we have any listeners, watchers here that have not been to Dodger Stadium, the gardens at Dodger Stadium are epic. They are above level. They are famous. Shout out to the crews there. I'm so bad with my ADHD brain. But we will definitely get his name, the leader of these garden warriors out there. I like it, Denny. Keep it coming. Dennis Gonzalez says, keep an eye on Rosarena, Canelo. That's for you. So look out for her. And then Mr. Seabad, he says, fabulous show. Thank you, Mr. Seabad. If you see some idiot walking around in Camelback wearing a Pink Floyd t-shirt, drinking Cutwater, that's me. So you're on assignment, babyface. You got to look for the Cutwater drinking Pink Floyd t-shirt, and that's Mr. Seabad.
Mr. Seabad also said he's going to get an autograph from Manny. I doubt anybody else will. The only way I'll believe that autograph is real, you have to hold up a piece of paper with the date and him signing that piece of paper for me to believe that shit's real.
You wanted to walk around with a newspaper? Do they even sell them anymore in Arizona?
No, a piece of paper where he fills out the day's date. Yeah.
Like a hostage. Yeah.
Yeah. Like those AMAs on Reddit. Like that's the only way I'm going to believe it.
Well, the front of your phone has the date. Could he have someone take a picture with the date? Would that? Am I being too technical?
I need proof. That's all I'm saying. I just need proof because I'm still convinced that image that Roger showed up is AI.
Oh, wow. Philip Lopez coming in dark. Has Barnes been traded yet? Ooh, do we want to end on that note? Can we?
No. No.
Oh, hey.
We can end on that.
I be stroking. Thank you for kicking into the Bleed Lows podcast fund. Wait, why are you laughing? Is this
Oh, you haven't been on one. This dude has the best name on the internet.
What up, Dodgers fam? I be stroking. Is that bad?
It's Alicia.
Over my head.
It's one of the greatest. Bro, I hope no one tries to buy that from you, and if they do, I hope you get compensated handsomely. That's an incredible screen name. Keep it.
Okay, but are you gonna? Can you explain to me off air why?
I can. Yes, that's not a family show. Family show.
I'm sorry.
I'm going to stick around for that explanation after the show. By the way, I'm going to be very curious for my popcorn here.
We'll have to. We'll talk about it off air.
Okay, I'm nervous now.
You should be.
Well, I appreciate the
Don't
$5.
Google it. Don't Google it. Whatever you do, do not
Don't
Google it.
cheat. Yeah.
Don't cheat. Don't Google.
I won't. I'm gonna wait. We're gonna say goodbye. Any last goodbyes for anybody out here that joined us tonight? Thank you for hanging out with us. To our Bleed Los fam, Alonso, Jason, Cody, thank you for hanging out with me this evening. Always fun. Keeping the excitement going, keeping the Ohtani and Yamamoto love going. Any last comments before we say goodbye?
Nothing. Yeah.
No.
Just
Thank
getting
you
ready
for tuning
spring.
in. Thanks for tuning in. And also, Tyler Glassnow. Shout out to Tyler Glassnow. You'll understand in a couple months why I said that.
All right. I like predictions. We'll take it. Maybe we should start a drinking game during the Bleed Los podcast. How about that?
I like where Alicia's going with the show.
And then maybe we can get an alcohol sponsor where they can pay us to pay drinking games.
Hey,
That explanation will be a lot more
dreaming.
fun after the drinking game.
It will, because it's about to get soup. We're about to have an HR problem, and that fucking sucks.
Dang it.
Roger, this
it.
is where you got to leave, Roger.
I
You
know,
saw no
he's like-
evil.
He's like the la 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 la. All right, you guys, everybody stay warm, stay safe, be cool, represent the Dodger fam, represent Bleed Los. We'll see you next time in the Carne Asada. Everybody, peace.
Good night.
Good night.
And this episode was brought to you by Bet Online. Good night, everybody.